Hello, hello. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Jill under Cottonwood. I am back for another night of painting, and I've got something fun to tell you about tonight while we're painting. So let me make sure everything is going like it's supposed to. I can't believe it's 7:15. Today has flown by, I feel like, and I feel like I spent a lot of time waiting on other people today. Have you ever had a day like that where I spent all day waiting on techie people for the website today? And anyway, so that was that. But anyway, it is 7:15 and here I am. I've got all the mouths fed, I think, in the house, and so now I'm ready to paint. But before we get started, I have to tell you about something really fun that is coming up. So I just scheduled a class, our first ever door hanger painting class for Saturday, January 29th. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. So if you're local to me, it's going to be at DeMario's, which is like the bowling alley that has like this, they have a couple of big banquet rooms is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, let me put in here, I'm going to give you the link to purchase your tickets. See if I can talk and do that at the same time. So anyway, what I'm making tonight is a smaller version of what we're going to be making at the class. Like I said, it's Saturday, January 29th, so it's a week from this Saturday. And what am I thinking? Anyway, you're going to take home a full-size door hanger, ready to go, ready to hang with the bow and, you know, the hanger and all that good stuff. So there is, since this is my very first class, I'm only doing 15 spots. So we'll see if I can add to that in the future, because I'm kind of planning for this to be like an every month sort of thing, hopefully. So anyway, you want to snag your ticket quickly so that you make sure to have a spot. I'm guessing they're probably going to sell out, quickly, hopefully, so that we can get everybody in on this and have some fun. So anyway, say hi when you get here and tell me what you're doing on this Tuesday night. Hopefully everything is working right. Oh, there I am. Yay. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. I've got this. Now, if you're going to take my class, you're going to make a regular, like when you see me have door hangers, they're usually about 18 inches in diameter. So tonight I just happen to have, I think this is like 11 or 14, maybe it's 14 inches, I think. And so, hey Cheryl, how are ya? So I'm doing a smaller version of it tonight, but if you take the class, you're gonna get like a big full-size one. So I went ahead and painted mine white. Now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do some stripes. You could do polka dots maybe, or some buffalo plaid. You could basically do anything that you choose to, but I'm going to do some stripes, and then we're going to stencil on this little home sweet home saying onto the front of it after we get everything painted, and then make a pretty bow with some greenery and stuff to put on the top. So like I said, I painted mine white already. I'm going to go with, I think, like gray and white. So I grabbed some gray. I think I'm going to do that for the stripes. And then I grabbed some navy blue. Oh, you can really see that pretty good. And gray ribbon here. So I think I'm going to do that for the bow and stuff. But anyway, that's the plan. So first things first, I got some painter's tape here. I'm just going to tape off where I want my stripes. So I'm just going to kind of start at the bottom. I just lined it up kind of right there at the bottom. And then, I really should be using smaller painter's tape than this. It doesn't need to be this wide, but this is just happened to be what was handy. So I'm going to take a little piece of it, and that's just going to kind of be my guide. So after I get the first strip down, I'll just use this kind of for my guide for the next row. And then I'll put a piece right here. So that's how big my stripes are going to be. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way up to the top. Just probably one more here, and then I'll run out of room. Yep. Okay, so this is that clean release duct tape. So I will tell you that if you're painting anything at home, anything kind of like this, you definitely want to buy a little bit more expensive tape, because you don't want any of your paint like seeping under the sides of the tape. You want it to be on there really good, and some of them, unfortunately, I've learned the hard way, aren't that great. So I know it sounds crazy to buy the most expensive painter's tape, but it really is worth it. Okay, so here's the gray I've got. Rainy Day, gosh, sorry, you really can't see that very well. Rainy Day Gray from Anita's Craft Paint. So I've got my tape down good. I'm just going to use, so I just put a little bit of it down on a plate here, and I'm just going to use one of these little foam brushes and just go right over the top. I don't necessarily want this to be like really heavy and contrast between the stripes. I guess kind of like, can you tell? You guys know I love stripes, everything, but so maybe not so much like this. So I'm gonna probably do 2 coats of this gray, but I'm not gonna go over it so much that it is like a solid color, like you would if you were doing a red or something that you really need to. So I'm just going to kind of do a couple really light coats of this. Plus it's going to dry a little bit faster, just for our sake, the lighter it is. But you definitely want to make sure and get all the little edges and everything. That's the nice part about having the good tape. You can just go right over the top of it and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let's let that dry for a minute. So let's chat about if you're interested in taking the class real quick while my gray is kind of drying here. So like I said, this will be my first ever door hanger painting class. I do kind of plan, hopefully it will become, like I said, an every month thing. And so I'll probably in the future, this particular month, I just chose to pick one design, and that's just kind of going to be what we're going to paint. So now the thing about it is like what I'm doing tonight, if you don't want, like I'm doing gray and white and using like some navy in my bow and stuff. So let's say that you don't like that color. So you'll be able to pick and choose, you know, whatever colors you want to use. I am going to stencil on my lettering in black. So, you know, like I said, maybe you want to do purple or yellow or pink or whatever color. That's totally fine. And maybe, like I said, you want to do polka dots instead of stripes, or maybe you want to do buffalo plaid instead of stripes. You know, all of those things are going to be, you know, you're going to be able to do that. I've done paint parties before, and, you know, I'm pretty flexible. We can do just about whatever you want. But in the future, I'll probably have like an everyday option and then maybe a seasonal option. So maybe like for February, we might do like an everyday thing, and then maybe you would have like a St. Patrick's Day option, or I even thought about maybe just doing like an everyday option, a seasonal option, and then maybe like a last name or initial or something as an option too, so that it, you know, it's not just the one thing every month, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But for now, we are just doing that. So it would just be this Home Sweet Home sign that we're making, but it's super cute. And like I said, you can customize it to be, you know, whatever colors or whatever, however you'd like for it to be. And if you're really fancy and you can freehand some stuff, you could even freehand, you know, other things, other little things onto your door hanger and just make us all, you know, totally jealous. I'm not that great at it yet. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, so I put the link to purchase your ticket for the class in the comments. So you can go and do that. You won't receive anything, obviously. It'll just reserve your spot for the class. So don't feel like I think it's going to send you like a thank you email and that sort of thing. But you won't get a product, I guess is what I'm saying. It's just going to reserve your spot for the class. So there's that. And then, like I said, seats are limited just because I haven't ever done it before. And in the future, hopefully there can be more people. Just for right now, we only have 15 spots. So get your seat quickly. So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to blow dry my gray just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to hit it again real lightly with my gray one more time, making sure I don't want it to be too terribly dark or thick. But I just want to make sure I get all the little edges and along the line of the paint and that sort of thing. Now, if you wanted it to be really contrasting, you could definitely just keep going over it until it was one nice solid color for sure. Okay. Oh, because I'm going to go back when we're totally finished here and like do a little, well, I guess you could call it distressing, just kind of paint the edges a little bit, kind of make it look a little rustic. So, okay, let's dry that little coat real quick and then we're going to be moving on. To, hey, say hi when you're here, guys. Go ahead and take my tape off. Painting this door hanger, talking about you can paint yours too at my January painting class. So if you don't have plans, this is like a perfect time of year too. If it's cold and there's not much to do, then you can come take a class with me. Have some, we'll have some snacks and stuff too, and have some girl time and get out of the house for a little bit. That's always fun. You can't argue with that any day, right? Okay, so here's my stripes. Now I'm going to show you my gray a little bit. So you can see how I could have went over it like one more time and made it a really solid color, but I kind of just wanted it to be, just lighter, I guess. Kind of that like, is it safe to say like wood wash kind of look or whitewash look? I don't know if that's what I'm trying to say or not. But, okay, so here's the next step. Now you guys have seen me do this. I think I got this upside down. You have seen me do this if you've been following for a while, a couple different times. So I've printed out, the words that I want to use on this door hanger. And so I'm just going to stencil them on to my round here by using graphite paper. So this is what we would use at the class. So another option, I guess, really would be, and that, like I said, that'll probably be for the future. Like, you could You could say welcome instead of home sweet home, or, you know, like your last name or whatever other saying you might be interested in. But for this time, I think we're just sticking with what we got here. But anyway, like I said, I'll take suggestions. How about that? I'll take suggestions for the future as to what we should do. So here's the first thing you do when you're using graphite paper. Now, I have got this this fits my round here. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape and I'm just going to tape this down. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to tape it right down to my surface here so that my paper stays right on top of my door hanger, which maybe I need to go back just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. No, maybe not. Let me try this. There we go. How about that? Okay, so, oh, I was like, what is that down there? But that's my little bag right here. Okay, so I've got this taped down, so this way, this will not move, okay? Now, all you do is take your graphite paper, and this you just get at Hobby Lobby, maybe even Walmart. I get mine at Hobby Lobby, but they probably have it just about anywhere. And it's going to go right here underneath my stencil. So now all you do is take an old-fashioned good old number 2 pencil, and you just have to trace around your letters. So this is super simple. It's like the easiest way. You go onto the computer, you type out, print out what you want your greeting or saying to be. And then I just kind of use a program that I can size it to, the round that I need. But you could use, you could go to Google in Google Docs and print out a welcome in whatever font you like. And then use that the exact same way. Just get you some graphite paper. A lot easier, or that's another option for someone who doesn't have a Cricut maybe. If you don't have that option to print off, a stencil with your Cricut machine or cut out some vinyl, this is a really great option. So I'm just tracing around the insides and the outside. So we'll go back. This is what we're actually going to paint. But it'll be super easy to just paint right over all of this. Has anybody watched the Bob Ross Netflix special? I started to watch it and then I don't think I ever actually finished it. It's pretty interesting. I remember that being on like at my grandparents' house when I was little. My grandparents watching him. Who would have thought all these years later now you're watching me paint? That's crazy. Those people that do like like him, even the landscape paintings of like how you can see that, that is true talent. I guess I should have told you it's really important for that, the paint to be dry before you do that, before you do this. Because that can definitely create a big mess if it's not underneath, if it's not dry under here. Okay, so the nice thing about the tape and having it taped down, here's what you do. So you can lift your paper up there a little bit and take a look and make sure you didn't miss anything. Looks pretty good. And if you did, you can just put it back down and trace over it real quick. But let me tell you what, if you do not tape it down, you're never going to get it back in the same spot ever again. And so then, like, tracing the E that you forgot to the first time is basically impossible. So that's why these little guys get taped down for sure. So, okay, let me show you how this turned out. So here is our lettering on there. It just goes right onto your board. And now we know exactly what we need to paint. So, like I said, I'm going to do my lettering in black. I actually looked for, I thought I had some navy paint, but I could not find it anywhere. So, going for black, which will actually probably show up the best anyway, really. But okay, let me see here. Now, remember last week, if you were paying attention, right? Pop quiz. If you were paying attention last week, I was talking to you about when you're doing stenciling, and you're using, you have different brushes available. So here's a great example. So my home up here lettering is a lot bigger than the ones down here. So let me show you what I meant by that, or meant by the brushes. I'm trying to find another one. So I was talking about whenever you're doing lettering, you want to take the brush that you're choosing to use and you want to like press it down to see how wide your brush is actually going to be. So for instance, this brush is going to be fine when I'm doing the bigger wording, the bigger letters up here on the word home. But if I do it down here on that little letter, you can see how my brush is actually bigger than that whole H right there when I press it down. So that means this brush is a good size for this part, but it is too big to do the bottom part. So you got to kind of keep that in mind, because just like being a kid, you got to, paint within the lines, right? Okay, so I'm just going to get started on the top part. Just go right along where we stenciled that lettering on. Makes it super simple. I have practiced and practiced and practiced, like doing some, like if you saw my Valentine door hanger that I did last week, I just hand wrote out the word love on my sign and then just painted it from there, which I have practiced and practiced and practiced and still need a lot more practice to be better at that. So there's no way in the world I would just ever assume that you could just, or like if you, basically what I'm saying is if you were taking the class, I would not set you up for something like that. Like I would definitely make it easy for you to be able to do this and not just expect you to be able to like hand paint that, because that is definitely a challenge. Unless you're just super uber talented, and there are people like that. So most of you probably know we're big Chiefs fans around here, so we are super excited that they are still in the playoffs and have a potential run for the Super Bowl again. So that's really exciting. Everybody else in my family, their teams are out, so that was pretty fun too. They all were playing this last weekend, but now they're out. Just the good old Chiefs left for our family. So quiet in here tonight. It's crazy. When you're a mom with littles, you always dream about having a quiet house, or even just like a quiet minute to yourself at home. And your kids get bigger and they're either not as home as often, or when they're teenagers, they're usually in their room most of the time. So now we have a quiet house all the time. It's weird. See, this is it. That's not hard at all. Just moving right along there. So even if you thought you weren't a painter, I bet you would surprise yourself. If you saw my post from Sunday, that I was working on a project that was like a cow head, and I got it finished today, and it turned out super cute. I'm not sharing it just yet because it's a surprise for someone, and so we didn't want to ruin the surprise, obviously, but so many people were interested in it. I was really surprised, but I cannot wait for you guys to see it because it, like I said, it turned out super cute. So I had the thought, I actually even, that was something that got sent to me by a friend who just asked if I could create something that she had found a picture of. And so I was looking around at a couple other things, and I actually found like a chicken, and like my cousin actually really wanted me to do a horse head for her, and I haven't done that. So I was like, oh my gosh, that might be a fun little challenge to do. There's a lot of people who love their chickens around here, that's for sure. So that might be a popular one too. But so I can't wait to show you. As soon as she gives this as a gift, then I will share the picture. We just didn't want to ruin any surprises. Okay, just about finished with this part anyway. Okay, there you have it. Look how easy that was. Super cute, pretty little font there, just says home. So nothing tough about that at all. I'm going to get a smaller little brush here to do the bottom. That one might be too small, actually. Let's try it. We'll go with the smaller option here and see how that works. What do you guys think so far? Liking it? You think you could do it? I think you could. I think you could totally do it. So these are the same brushes I was talking to you guys about last week on our project. That they're called, and I don't know if I ever shared the link for them or not. The filbert tip ones, so they're kind of rounded out the top, which makes it a little bit easier for doing lettering and things like that. I'll have to look back and see if I did share the link for those, because these are probably my favorite for a lot of different things, but they just seem to be so smooth. This is definitely one perk about painting your lettering on. You always have to worry about, whenever I'm doing my like vinyl stencils and things, you always have to worry about getting it, you know, placed in the right spot, and is it, you know, centered and that sort of thing. So this definitely makes that easier when you can, you know, see what you have to work with on your project, and then know that you're kind of painting it in the right area because you've placed your, you know, placed your template in the right area. Almost done with this part. Okay, check it out. There we have it. Home Sweet Home. Super cute. Can you hear the cat trying to get the dog to come play with her? Okay, so let's let that dry just a little bit, and then we can hit some of our spots. We'll just make sure we got it covered really good. So I'm going to set that aside, but there's what we've got so far. So we started with the white round and then did their gray stripes. Just gonna set that up here for a minute. Out of the way, let that paint dry just a bit. And let's make a pretty little bow to go with it. Okay, I didn't use that one. Oh, we are gonna put some kind of distressing on it too, so we'll do that before we get done. But in the meantime, okay, I can grab my bow maker here, get all this cleaned up. Okay, so since we did the gray and white with the black lettering, I am just, and like I said, I had brought out, I did the navy and the gray. Thought that would look kind of cute with this little sign. So I've got some mesh here that's just like, oh, it's not a full roll, but I thought I would just cut a little piece of that to kind of start at the bottom of our bow here. So I'm just going to kind of pull that. What is this? Looks like it's about 8 inches wide. And then I'm just going to kind of roll this up, and it's going to be right here, kind of starting at the bottom of our bow. I don't know. I think this is just kind of fun. Adds a little extra texture there. So then I grabbed a few pieces of some greenery that I had. So I'm just going to pop these in here. Maybe. In there. So I'll probably do a couple on each side. Actually, I think well, yeah, my sign's pretty, it's kind of tiny, so I think I'll just do, well, I don't know. Typically, on my big signs, I would do like 3 and 3. But this little sign is kind of little, but you know what? What the heck? I got a couple more sprigs here. Let's just use it all. This is just some little greenery picks from Walmart. It's the eucalyptus. It's pretty good in just about everything. So, okay, first I'm gonna use this big 2.5 inch polka dot ribbon. Like I said, it's navy blue, so I'm kind of going with that. I'm just going to kind of cut this end at an angle there. So let me see here. So since my sign is a little bit smaller, I'm just going to kind of keep my tail, what is this, right about 5 inches. So I like the bow, the Easy Bow Maker, which if you've been around for a while, you know that. You could hold this in your hand and tie it, or you could make a bow a lot of different ways. I just kind of like how these little, I don't know if you would call it a funky bow maybe, look. I just like the look of them. So that's why I choose to use this. It kind of holds everything for you too, so it makes it really easy as opposed to like holding your bow in your hand. But, okay, so I got my tail about 5 inches, so I'm going to make my loop here about 5 inches, which is another reason why I like this, the bow maker, because it has, you know, it's marked, so you know exactly what you're working with. So I made a loop on the other side, and then I just cut the end at an angle for that one. Now, I love mixing, you know, multiple different ribbons in bows. A lot of people do too, but you could definitely use the same, you know, if you only had one kind of ribbon, you could use the same ribbon throughout, and maybe that's, you like that style better. But so this one, it's going to be, the tail's going to be a little shorter, and the loop's going to be a little shorter, a little smaller, I guess I should say. And just do the exact same thing there. And then I have another, so this is kind of navy blue stripes. Super handy because you just slide your ribbon on right there at the end. And it keeps that in place too. Okay, so this tail is just going to be a little smaller yet. And smaller loop. Now you could keep going and make multiple loops with your ribbon. I just kind of do one loop on each side and call it good. This is just, oh, I need to get, let me see, do I have one? Do I have one? Hang tight. Let me get the zip tie to hold on to my bow. So hang on just a second. Okay, got a little zip tie here, so I'm just going to squish this down. Now I'm just going to run this right up underneath this side of the bow maker here, and then I'll go all the way across everything, kind of pull it down just a little bit. Now from there, I'm just going to kind of fluff this stuff out. So you want to go opposite. So like this tail's going up, this loop is coming down. That means on the other side, I'm going to have that loop goes up and this tail comes down. So see, I've got a tail and a loop, and then a loop and a tail. So you just kind of continue that, spreading out your ribbon. And then do the same there. So when you kind of have it spread out and fluffed a little bit there, you can just pull up on your zip tie and it'll take everything out together. See, it's so handy, so handy. Now, when you have it like this, here's everything. There's our little mesh that we used, all of our ribbon, our greenery is in there. So then I just take it and pinch it together as far as you can, slide your zip tie around to the back. So there's the little knot there. So I just kind of pinch it so I can get it as tight as I can. Now I'm going to kind of rearrange this greenery just a little bit. Sometimes you kind of have to bend it out so they will go everywhere. You want to do all of this before you get your zip tie totally, well, come on now, totally cinched down super tight. So once you kind of have that, then look at your ribbon, make sure you got that going the right way. And like this one, I need to pull this a little bit more to kind of even that out. Then when you're happy with it, just take that and pull your zip tie as tight as you can get it. And there's what you got. Got a pretty little bow. So now I usually go back and I will hit this with some hot glue just to kind of keep all of those little the greenery pieces all together there so they don't slide through. Which your zip tie gets pretty tight, so you don't have to worry about that too much, but I like to just hot glue it just to be on the safe side. So look at that cute little bow. And then, so here's my sign. Look at that. That is going to be super cute. What do you guys think? Hearts? Give me a heart or a like or something if you think that is super cute for your door. So let's go back now and just touch up. Don't really have a whole lot to do here. I'm just going to kind of go back and touch up a couple little places. You can do a whole second coat if you feel like it needs to have that. One thing that's really important, and you probably have seen me like go back and get paint a ton of different times, just even when I've been painting these words, it's like you get just a little bit, you go back and get more paint. You really, really, really want to keep it as light as you possibly can. So it's definitely easier to go back and get more paint if you need it than to have too much, because it'll just sit there. It takes a long time to dry. It's hard to go back over it. There's just a lot of reasons. So you just want to kind of keep a thin little layer of paint as you can. So all in all, this is pretty easy. Like I said in the beginning, we could have done, you know, like a buffalo plaid. We could have done polka dots. We could have done really thin little stripes. We could have done wider stripes. Or, you know, could have used different colors too. Okay, got that part kind of touched up there. So let me touch up this bottom part here. And we are going to be done with this cute little guy. I loved this little font. It was really cute. Sometimes I like to do two different fonts when you do like sayings like this, and have this be one font and this be something different, but this one just looked really cute the way it was. So it's the same font for both. The big home and then the smaller sweet home. It's just really cute. You know, another option for the classes would be could do some of my top sellers. Like there's a couple of them that I could think of that are always super popular, that maybe that's a class that we should do. And if you're not local to me, I am kind of trying to work on a plan as to how we could do this virtually too, because that is definitely an option and a possibility too. So, okay, there's that. So here's my sign. Gray and white striped, home sweet home. Super cute. So I did the gray stripes, the black lettering there. Now, let me show you what we're going to do next. Let me hit this with the dryer real quick here before we do the next part. Okay, so I just wanted to do a little distressing around the edges. So if you were here in the beginning, I didn't do my gray like super, you know, super heavy, super thick as far as like the stripe, the contrast of the stripes go. So I wanted to kind of make it a little rustic around the edges. So here's what you do. You've probably heard of dry brushing before, and if you haven't, this is kind of what dry brushing is. So I'm taking a dry foam brush. This is not the one I used earlier, so this is a clean one. I know it's got all kinds of paint on it, but it actually is clean and dry. But you take this, I'm just gonna dip the end in my black paint here. So it's just gonna, the very tip of it is just gonna kind of go from one end to the next into my paint. And then I've got my paper towel, and I'm going to just kind of blot like almost all of it off, right? So once you have that, then you just kind of go, I'm trying to do this where you can see it, but it's kind of tricky. You're just going to kind of slide it along the edge of the door hanger. So it's just kind of roughing up. Oh, it's really hard to tell. You can kind of see right there along the edge. So that's what I'm just going to kind of do all the way around here real lightly. I'll show you when I get it totally finished here. You'll be able to tell a little bit better. Now you could leave it. You by no means have to do this part at all. You could just have left it alone. I mean, totally. What is... Oh, that's funny. My daughter just texted me, what is going on Yellowstone? Apparently she's catching up. Oh, girl, there's a lot of stuff going on that show. Okay, so here's kind of my little distressed edges. So I hit the edges mostly with that. Now what you can do too is if you want, I was kind of going back and forth along the whole part of the door hanger just to kind of give it that look. But one really great way to do that, where you kind of get a little bit more of that, it always kind of grabs onto the edges a little bit easier. But you do the same thing. So I'm getting some more paint on my brush. I'm just going to dab it once, and then you just kind of like drag your paintbrush across. So you can kind of do it until you get the look that you're going for. So, you know, you just kind of get those little spots where it kind of starts to have that like the old shiplappy, rustic, old wood look to it. Like I said, you just kind of go until it kind of has the look. And like I said, if you liked it without any of that distressing, you just skip that part and just leave it the way you did. But you can definitely add that if you do like it. If you do kind of like that little rustic look to it. So there's another option. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up. It's really hard to tell now that I got the light on it. So we'll take a picture of it tomorrow and I'll show you what it looks like in the light. You can see it a lot better probably. But okay, here's our pretty little bow we made. So there's our sign. There's what all that we stenciled on. And our bow. So now I would just have to go and put my door hanger on it, and then of course we always have to seal them with like polyurethane, so that gets done too at the very end. But so like I said, lots of different options that you can do with this fun little sign. So okay, let's kind of recap real fast, and then I'm gonna get off here and get out of your hair. So I saw one heart. Somebody loves it. Okay, so I posted in the comments, this is just an example of, okay, Alyssa, she said she's in tears right now. If you are a Yellowstone watcher, she's trying, my daughter's trying to catch up and watch all of them. She had never seen any of them. So she's like binging everything up to current time. So she was starting on season 4, I think over the weekend. And so clearly she's like, what the heck is going on? But anyway, okay, so I posted the link in the comments to the class, to sign up for the class We're going to do the first ever door hanger painting class on Saturday, January 29th. This is an example of what we're doing at the class. Like I said, any color would go, any option. You don't have to do it exactly like mine. But you would have a full size, and this was kind of a smaller one just because this is what I had on hand tonight. So this is a smaller round, but you would have an 18-inch round, which is like the normal door hanger size that you typically see me have. So you would come to the class, you're going to paint it, you're going to make your pretty little bow, and when you leave, it's going to be ready to hang up. So it would be great for yourself. It might be great for to use as a gift too for someone. And then it would just be a fun girls' afternoon. Well, guys too, but probably girls' afternoon out. Like I said, if you're local to me, it's here. It's in Cheney at the DeMario's. They have some banquet rooms. It's like a bowling alley, pizza place. And the spaces are limited. This is my first class, so I have 15 spots, so get your ticket quickly. And then in the future, I might add, like I said, we'll probably have other options, like some seasonal options and different things. This just happens to be what we're going to paint this time for the first time, see how it goes. And so when you purchase your ticket, you won't get sent anything other than like a thank you email or something like that. But that'll just reserve your spot in the class. So, I'll have you on the list. So anyway, if you have any questions about the class, always message me here or email me at jill@cottonwood.com. Either way, and I'll get back to you. And I hope to see you to come paint with us. And so grab your girlfriends and come paint, because that would be, like I said, it's a great time of year to, like, you know, if the weather is yucky and something and you just need an afternoon. So it's on a Saturday, the 29th from 2 to 4. So you saw how quickly we painted this. So we'll have plenty of time to snack and chat and have some fun and everything. So it's a great, like I said, a great girls' afternoon to get out. So go snag your ticket, because like I said, they're probably going to sell out. Hopefully it does. And reserve your spot now. And yeah, that's that. So here's just another quick look at what we ended up with. Pretty little bow and a fun little home sweet home door hanger that we painted with our stencil. So anyway, have a great rest of your Tuesday and the week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.